Hold on a minute. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. I had to come into the room to really do this morning. And um, I want to start off not just going to straight black so y'all can understand what I was saying. And I'm debating should I? Because of the fact that this message is kind of serious. It's not serious in the sense of, oh, we're into the world. No. It's more so somebody getting their props and getting their flowers. And it was basically God showing me something. He used the family dynamic last night that I wasn't suspecting. And I did not put, um, I didn't suspect it until he broke it down the way he broke it down. And I'm going to go ahead and get into it. And if I feel like, I need to go ahead and push down the blind, I will, just for you guys to focus on what I'm saying. This family is a very celebrated family. This family is a very celebrated family, but not celebrated in the sense where uh not celebrated in the sense where people they look at what they have. They look at the things. They look at they look at the glamour. They look at all the glitz and stuff. And God is like, no, he's looking at the heart. And this family, he looked at the heart of a kingdom, the heart of a king, and the heart of a queen, and the family dynamics of a prince and a princess, and how they really made things work. Not saying it's perfect, nothing's perfect, but they made it work. And that is a lot to say when it comes from the creator, and he took me up to show me things. All right, so this one is for the Smiths family. Will Smith, Jada Pickett Smith, or Jada Smith, and Willow, and Jaden. It, Jaden and Willow, I'm sorry, Prince and Princess. It's because of the fact how you guys have it. And even his oldest son, and I wish I knew that baby's name. Again, I'm going to figure it out. I do apologize, sir, if you see this. I do apologize. I do not mean to disrespect you. It's just that, you're more so in the back corner, probably running things in the back to make sure everybody looks good and keeping things in the basically you administration. You make sure things go the right way. That's how I'm thinking as the oldest son is from the first girlfriend, because she wasn't the first wife. But moving forward, uh gosh, how can I break this down? This was beautiful. The Lord took me in and he showed me Will Smith's life. The first thing he showed me was how you got started as a rapper. And I had all your albums growing up. I had, cassette tapes and everything. That was me playing, Will Smith, or I'm sorry, Fresh Prince. They was before the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It was just the Fresh Prince, and I had your albums, and I had your well, I had your tapes. I didn't have the albums, but how you set the tone to be different. You didn't have curse words in your albums, and that to me, for somebody who grew up listening to you, I could play your tapes in the car without any problems. I could play your tapes at a family function, and no problems. We could sit back and dance to it, no problems. It wasn't anything that you had to sit back here and have to press rewind or fast forward at this, and you can't really listen to that. No, you can listen to the whole album stress free. And some of the stuff we even laughed about, it was funny. But you went from there because even then the rap game was real. I remember back in the 80s, the rap game was tight, and they were all into a whole nother situation doing like the gangster stuff was coming out, people calling each other Crips and Bloods and stuff. You was mostly just trying to put your music out there. So you and Jazz Jeff, and y'all got out of that. And the door opened, the avenue opened where God made it so the avenue opened where you went into acting. You put the music game in the back burner for a while, which was a very smart, a very smart move. Very smart move. I mean, to me, it was brilliant. You didn't have those stipulations on you where you just had to be one or the other. And you probably took and I know back in those days and quiet as kept, you took some hits. You took some hits to get yourself to where you are. A lot of them did a lot of sacrificing to do what you need to do, but the thing is, you got there. And the powers that be made sure that you was Quincy Jones. Well, I think it was it Chris? I think it was Quincy Jones. Was it Quincy Jones and a couple of other men? I can't think of. I think it was Sanaa Lathan's dad. I want to say it was him also part of the whole production of you getting your show. And at the time frame, Bill Cosby was the big thing on there. He had, you know, different world and everything going on. So I know you probably was under the gun dealing with other people doing their thing too. But you kept your thing. You kept your show PG and G. You hit on a lot of sensitive problems and sensitive subjects, and you still kept it. How can I? You kept it basically like royalty. You kept it kingdom. You kept it kingdom. You did. People starting to wake up around here. But you kept it kingdom. You kept it PG. You know. Now, true, you had a couple other movies that was not, but they weren't for kids anyway. And that was your way of breaking into the industry. And I mean, you do what you got to do to get there. Um, this is just God breaking down your life in front of me last night, and how a king was supposed to, a man that rose up to be a king in his own kingdom, and how you got shown favor through it all. Because you went through a lot of different things from shows, and even when it came down to your show, dude, do you know how long your show ran? I mean, I know you do know, but unheard of. And people still play it to this very day. It still is a syndicate that still get royalties for you to this very day. And it's still funny because I could get my kids to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the first one, and it hits on sensitive subjects and it's funny. The satire and the slapstick comedy is funny, and it was at a time when we needed it. I mean, we had the Cosby Show and everything, but it was at a time frame we want to have something more on our level, and you did that. People don't give you those props, but they, yeah, you did that. And then when it came down to you picking, because you did a couple of movies, then when it came down to you picking out the woman you want to be as your queen, I know you probably had to pick of the litter. And I hate to call women litter, but in this realm of life, that's how the society has put us, you know, like a litter of puppies, and you got to pick out the best one. It's sad the way this society has made women, but it is what it is. Um, you picked out a perfect woman. Not saying you didn't have a good one before, but you picked out a perfect one for this one because of the fact Jada was. I don't see nobody else with y'all. But y'all too, when it comes down to y'all being with each other, that's about it. Because of the fact you picked out a woman that could hold you down. You picked out a woman that could hold you down. That wasn't trying to take your shine, take your spotlight. You know, she knew the role that she was going to play, and she knew how to play it. And then she knew how to hold your heart and hold you down, even in the midst of all the craziness and rigmarole y'all went through in life. She knew how to hold down what you built in the process of building. She wasn't out here, making headlines and doing stupid stuff and all and trying to be in front of everybody. I mean, because she was still an actress. Jada was, well, already did what? Jason's Lyric, and she also did with Queen Latifah and them Set It Off. She did her movies. She was also in A Different World. She was also on the Cosby Show. I mean, she had her thing going, but this woman was about to go ahead and leave Hollywood, leave everything alone, especially after Tupac died. Well, I think it was before. No, it was after. She was gonna leave, and Jada, I understand, because if I would have got my trust fund and my money, I would have got my farmland, and my kids and me would have been tillers of the land. Having our animals and everything too. That was my whole agenda to, be a farmer, do my own thing, you know. But the thing is that for you to choose her, out of all the women, you chose her, and you chose a perfect match for you. Someone to keep you sharp. Watch out for your heart. Watch out for your kingdom. If you're there or not, she's still making sure you good. There's nothing like it for you, because not saying it's now. I'm not saying it wasn't easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that y'all life is perfect. I'm not saying y'all marriage is perfect. No marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. But in the fact of you and her making it in the sense of keeping everything within the family and making sure people understand that you only get in so much. After that, cut it off, because you're not going to ruin what I built, and you really protect your people. From what I know and what I remember, you take care of your own folks. You make sure everybody's taken care of. That means you get out, you work, you make sure you make the money, you make sure you make the right investments, and you kept building. You kept building, and that's what's up. Gosh, it's so much I could say here. Even with the scandals, and I'm not going to get all in, because I'm not giving nobody else no glory here. So I'm not bringing up those other folks' names. They don't get glory here. Y'all do. Will Smith, you do, because you built the kingdom. And quiet as kept, you kept it under the radar, and you still kept it good with everybody, no matter where you were. From the people in West Philly to the people in LA, you still doing your thing. And that was the thing. You still made sure the kids were taken care of on all hands. You understood the assignment, and you did it. And you did it under the radar until you was on top of the radar and people couldn't touch you. Even if they could touch you, you still keep it. This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. This is what I got. And you're not trying to overstep your boundaries. It's like you understand how to go with God's flow, if you know what I mean. It's like the flow of God. You really go with that. And that rhythm, you got that rhythm down where you know how to step in alignment, and it works for you. Not saying you didn't have to, do a few things. Didn't say you didn't have any bad days. Didn't say you didn't cry. Didn't say you didn't probably go somewhere and scream. You and your wife, y'all probably do have y'all screaming matches or not. You probably go somewhere and cry somewhere, or y'all may cry on each other's shoulder. But the fact of the matter, whatever happens in your relationship and whatever happens in y'all marriage, whatever happens in y'all household, you keep it there. Jaden, when you did Red Table Talk, I was surprised. I was surprised because you're a very private person. And another thing, take care of yourself, young lady. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Kids, take care of your mom. Take care of your grandma. Okay? Know that I love you guys. I'm one of the ones. I don't know y'all like that, but I can say from one heart to another, I understand, and I love you guys, because regardless of the situation, you guys were not narcissists. You guys were not narcissists with your children. You kept whatever hidden secrets within the family, and y'all made sure everybody got what they needed within the family to make them better. That's all a man of God does, is make sure he keeps his kingdom together. And when it came down, also Will, when it came down to the Will Smith and Chris Rock situation, I tip my hat off to you, sir, because you did what no other man, especially a black man, would do for his woman. You stood up for her, and you stood 10 toes down on business. And you didn't even apologize. Well, you know, you apologized about the hit because you could have did it better and kept your anger. But at that time frame, he was attacking your queen, and y'all been together for what, 20 some years. You made me proud that day. And I love Chris Rock. I love, love, love his shows. I watch all your comedy specials, all your movies since you was Pookie and Ray back in New Jack City. I love been I've been watching you, Chris Rock, for a long time, loving all your specials. Do. But I don't know if it was a skit, it was meant to be done, or it was just something that happened and you just was like, no. You don't overstep your boundaries dealing in another man's household. You don't dip your foot in somebody else's pool, regardless if somebody's liking it or not. When you have a family dynamic, you don't touch you don't touch his partner. It's like you touching him. They're two that became one. You touch one, you touch the other. That's why the scandals were so personal and hurt, because y'all are partners. Y'all in a relationship where y'all like basically like one flesh. One gets touched, the other one gets touched. You see what I'm saying? So in that situation where the award show was, I tip my hat off to you, sir, because you did what no other black man would do. Get up and stand up for your wife, for your queen, for the woman who holds you down and keeps your heart safe. And it wasn't because, oh, he's going to be into it later on. No, those for ignorant dudes that don't understand the meaning of somebody's attacking your household. And you don't let nobody attack your household. When you're the keeper, you're the protector, you're the provider. You built, you established, you made a conglomerate of a lifestyle that would basically be something to look at for like lifetimes to come, for other people to see the blueprint on how it's supposed to be ran. Not saying it's perfect, but dang it, you make it work and look good in doing it too. Uh, so hey, Mr. Chris Rock, I still give you all the respect. But there was two kings there, and one took a hit at the queen. And if you know anything about chess, the queen protects the king. But if you knew about the original chessboard, a long time ago, I heard that the king was the one protecting the queen. I think it was like later on or something like that. The queen was the one that became the most powerful piece on the board or whatever. But I think in the original, the king was the most powerful piece on the board. I don't know how they got turned around, but either way, that's a long time ago. I read that somewhere a long time ago because I love chess. Don't really care for checkers. It's too quick of a game. Too much mess, too loud. But anyway, um, but Lord, it was so much you showed me. And then when it came down to your children, people may or may not like what you did, but guess what? Ain't they dang on business? Those wasn't no kids. They were y'all kids. Nobody else's kids. Y'all raising the way you see fit. And it's like even with y'all parents, y'all said, hold on, this is our household and what we gonna do. And y'all stayed a unit. That's what's up. That's what matters. That's what a king does. He doesn't throw away his queen. He doesn't sit back and disrespect his queen or let anybody else disrespect her. queens, you understand your role and you take out that role seriously. You're protecting that man's kingdom and that man's heart, and you are the first line of defense if something happens. But usually that king has people and things set up around it so nobody else can mess with it. Nobody else. There's nothing wrong with that. That is thing right with that. Um, I guess it's what Jay-Z and Beyonce. Y'all close second. Well, not really close second. Y'all just second. They're not close. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because of the fact there's still too many people in your camp that can reveal too much about your life. Even though they're not in it like that, it's like too much too much in in mind control, too much in the public eye, just too much going on. Even though y'all have a lot of private moments and nobody knows what goes on in your house. Sorry. The Smiths family has the vote for me because even with all the scandals and situations, they still kept it classy. They kept it PG. They kept it real. Nobody fighting over power. Even though they had their little thing where they talked about, bad boys and, the Matrix and everything was pretty funny. But they still kept it together. They still realized, this is a family unit. We're building a dynasty here. We're building a um, a kingdom within our own home or in our own life. We're building a kingdom, and that's what God made me realize. He was like, these men came in and built a kingdom from the ground up and holding it down. And he's gonna go on to his grandkids, and great grandkids gonna do great things because he set the foundation. He set the foundation, and that's what matters. And as he go on to do these things, he takes care of his people. That that's commendable. So Smith family, Mr. Will Smith, God showed me you as an example in modern day times on how a king's supposed to protect his kingdom and his queen. And as a family dynamic that really shines in his eyes. And that says a lot because I wasn't expecting this one at all. I really wasn't. But congratulations. Anyway, I'm off of here. But I want to put that out there and I'm not saying that y'all come in and do a model after, the Smith family or something. I mean, you can if he wants you to, if he allows you to. But I do believe that they deserve more of a 23 as I say this. I do believe that they deserve a lot more respect than what they've gotten. They deserve a lot more respect. They've been through hell and back. And they still a family of worth mentioning that they are a kingdom within themselves. Congratulations on that. Because it wasn't an easy road, but y'all made it. And y'all still making it. It's not over. Y'all still have a long way to go. But the fact of the matter is, y'all have made it as far as you've made it. Your kids are grown, you know, probably getting married to other people, you know. Congratulations on the grandchildren, grandchild. Not saying boy or girl. I do know which one it is, but I'm not. But congratulations on your dynasty is still going because they're gonna do great things. They just keep the same thing going. Let them be able to flourish and nurture themselves to go forward. Now there's some honorable mention families, but this was the only model family that God gave me that was, you know, perfect in His sight as how a family dynamic supposed to run. It's not perfect. Nobody's perfect on this earth. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's good but God. But the dynamic of a family in the public eye is the Smiths family, made by Mr. Will Smith himself. I mean, he went and got his queen, and she was about to be a farmer, and she wasn't looking into going back into Hollywood. But he said, "Nope, I need you here with me." He had that talk with her, and she understood the assignment. And they kept going and kept being together through thick and thin. And that's what I call through better or for worse, richer or poor, till death do us apart. Now, is it perfect? No. They had their situations about divorce and everything, yeah. But then they went back and reconsidered and said, no, there's something more bigger than us here. And that's what marriage is. Marriage is not about, to me, because I've never been married. I never said I do to nobody. If anybody said I do to them, they'll lie. They're lying through their teeth. I've never said I do to one person. Not because I didn't want to, because I have not seen a person to actually say that to that's worthy of it. Because that's a huge stepping stone. That's a huge commitment. And I take that very seriously. So, talking about that situation with them, she understood the assignment. Probably didn't know what all she was getting herself into, but she understood the assignment. And she did that. Like I said, people getting up and going to work now. But either way it goes, congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to you guys. Y'all made it thus far. Keep going. You're making everybody proud, no matter what race, color, or creed. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic. You making everybody proud, sir, because y'all, through against all odds, you guys are making what looks like a family dynamic look good. And also, y'all are doing the key points to make it work. Not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying y'all got it all the way right. But dang it, you're doing your job. You're passing all the points. And that's what matters. Any rate, in any way, I just got on here to talk about what God told me and what God showed me last night. Now, does this mean y'all gonna be hit up on some stuff? Yeah. If you anything like I think, keep it together. Like I've been doing. No matter what hits, y'all have a fortress of people around you. The friends of the Smiths, y'all need to stay friends. Don't let this world come in and break y'all up. No new friends. Y'all need no new friends. Whoever been around y'all need to stay around y'all. And keep it going. Other than that, congratulations, sir. You guys are also on God's radar for favor. Favor. And that says a lot. Not like Oompa Loompa Kevin Hart. Not like Oompa Loompa. But you guys have made it work. Congratulations. Sorry, Mr. Hart, if you got upset, but like I said, Gene Wilder will have used you in that movie very, very well, sir. You done the perfect one. Matter of fact, there wasn't any black ones. Man, what a time that would have been if you'd have been there. You would have made history. Anyway, y'all have a good day. God bless you.